Personally, I really like this podcast, not gonna lie. I am all about gaming, and the hardest part for me about this is that I'm not always able to do it, and for personal reasons, I'm going to be out of commission for a little while. But that won't stop me from keeping myself on Direct, keeping all my gaming subscriptions on YouTube, and of course, listening to the Remember the Game podcasts, which are one of my personal fave perks about this. Anyway or either way, I just love video games, and I can't wait to bring this podcast even further than how it's already been. Thank you so much for listening. It warms my heart. Welcome everybody to What's Up and What's Next, episode 9, I believe. Today we're going to be going over Punch Out. I have been waiting to do that for a little while, and I'm actually really hyped to be doing it. I mean, I'm trying to stay calm, but yeah, Punch Out had a short revisited several times run, but that's exactly the reason I am going to be doing this podcast episode on Punch Out, you know? So let's get started on What's Up and What's Next with our super special What's Up and What's Next intro. Yay! Now, if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. I'm Mr.L Ludwig. My intro is a little bit longer than others, but it's fun. I make announcements. I do the thing that probably has nothing to do with this very episode's main subject. I do aces and jokers. Sometimes I share fan fiction games in my notebook. And I don't have a sponsor just yet. Not yet. So 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 let's get started. Let's get started with the thing that probably doesn't have anything to do with the main subject here. Now, I've gone over quite a couple. So instead, I think I'm just going to go over a few things that are bugging me a little bit. To usually gaming. So things like these are usually gaming related, usually TV related. They have something to do with a franchise of some kind. And right now, and I decide for the franchise that for the mini franchise I'm having to do for the thing that has nothing to do with the main subject, I'm going to go with Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That is a pretty good book series, and it's Disney. They've made 2 movies, and I hear they're making a renew for the second season on Disney Plus. That's fun, right? Fun. I was actually thinking of doing something else, but I wasn't sure if I should do it or not. So it popped into my mind to do Percy Jackson. Now, I don't mean Now, if you haven't read the Percy Jackson series, I recommend reading it. I'm reading it right now. Well, not like at this moment, but you know what I mean. It is a really good book series. If you haven't read it, then you should probably then consider this your warning. I am going to give off a few spoilers, and maybe I'll go for the simplest one. And I'm sure that with the first season now on Disney Plus, I'm sure that it's pretty much clear things up, because the movie Percy Jackson isn't like the book at all. It's much different. The series, however, is more similar to the book, which is why I'm going to be going over the Sea of Monsters. Now the Sea of Monsters is if you haven't. Now, these are a bit of spoilers, because I figure they're going to be doing a similar thing for the second season and making it act more like making the second season act more like the second book, if you know what I mean. So So, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. Sea of Monsters is where Percy discovers he has a brother. He has to rescue his satyr friend Grover, and he has to recover the Golden Fleece from a big Cyclops lair, and apparently the shields that protect Camp Half Blood, they're apparently the enemy known as Luke. He poisoned the borders so monsters could get in, and he set up this whole elaborate scheme to get the Golden Fleece to restore Kronos faster. Of course, Percy had Clarus take the Golden Fleece back to Camp Half Blood so that he couldn't get a hold of it. Thank goodness. That that of course that's pretty much all I have to say for the second. I didn't want to give off too much spoilers, so that's pretty much the whole thing. But since that was pretty short, I think I'll do another thing that probably doesn't have anything to do with this. Now, I'm sure that on Disney Channel you've heard of this show called I mean I haven't I'm taking a look at my analytics now. Actually, I looked before I was recording. Guess this cause I've looked and I see and I see that young. Never mind. Anyway, there's this Disney Channel show called Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. It's personally got me hooked. In fact, I'm going to be looking up right now when there's going to be a sixth season, because the fifth season left us off with quite the cliffhanger with Lila, or Cerise as her second identity is known as. Apparently Lila has the apparently Lila has the butterfly miraculous, and Gabriel sacrificed his life to either bring Adrian's mom or Natalie back to life. And there it is. Well, now there is a Netflix original movie as well, and it's not as entertaining. It's not as entertaining, not really. Hold on, I need to add a bit more context here. Season 6. Let's do this. Will there be a season 6? The sixth season of Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir is confirmed to be in production. Will consist of 26 episodes and will be released in the fourth quarter of 2024. Now, I'm taking a look at the calendar now. Now, quarters are fourths, so, and since 12 can be divided by 4, and there's 4 fourths, that's 1, so January, February, March is 1, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. That's kind of around the area where we'll probably be seeing it, but I'm gonna say kind of early December, late November this year. So I'm pretty hooked by it. I'm really excited. I can't wait for it to come out. And I'm going to give a quick review on it. And I'm sure a couple of people like it as much as me. Miraculous Ladybug it consists of 2 school kids. One named Marinette Dupan Chang. She's a little bit of a klutz. She does what's right, and after receiving the miraculous of the ladybug, she gets the ability to help people when they need it. Adrian is Cat Noir. Adrian has always been kept to be what word do I use? Confined by his father. and Adrian's father is actually secretly the main bad guy, Hawkmoth, who cha- who gets his hands on the Peacock Miraculous, creating monsters and supervillains thanks to a powerful Miraculous that for turning people into um not supervillains all the time, but he's able to transform them and give them powers. And after Ladybug loses all the miraculous to him, she eventually has the big face off with him, and then hold on, I need a drink. She has the big face off with him, and then she releases him of the butterfly miraculous. He makes his wish to bring back Natalie, and he sacrifices his own self to bring back his assistant to take care of Adrian. Either his assistant or I'm gonna say his mom. I'm gonna look it up right now. Miraculous season 6. Did no, not what I want. Did Gabriel revive Natalie or Emily? In Recreation, Emily was finally reunited with her husband in the afterlife, as her death is allowed to take its course after Bug Noir managed to convince him to stop his obsession with bringing her back. And Gabriel instead chose to use the ultimate miraculous power to sacrifice his own life to heal Natalie. There's our answer. That's our answer. So Gabriel sacrificed his life to bring back not Emily, but to bring back Natalie. So we can all expect to see great, 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 great fun. I can't wait to see what season 6 has in store, what new villains and who hasn't been akumatized and should have been akumatized by now. I can't wait to see who and what, and it's really got me hooked. And with all the superheroes back, and keeping the miraculous, that's got me even more hooked. And that is officially our segment of what I call the thing that probably doesn't have anything to do with this. Now I'm going to take out my cards and we shall play a quick game of Aces and Jokers before we get into Punch Out Talk with a guest of mine. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So, if you're new to the podcast, I have Aces and Jokers written down here on this note. These cards are for podcast segments Aces and Jokers. Double Jokers means do something stupid, which I have one in mind, and I'm really hoping that I won't have to pull one anytime soon. One ace, one joker means tell a couple of jokes, or one. And double jokers means to reshuffle and play again. Except you take one card and there's no jokers. Spade means do a couple of shout-outs early, which I don't have anymore. Heart means if you could, what would you add in or remove from a movie or game? Diamond means play/watch, change something about it, make a sequel to it, remake it, or erase it entirely. And club means trim and add in a segment from a past episode. Although if a guest is with me at the time, it means truth or dare. And since I don't have a guest, I'm going to take my 2 cards. Now I do this at least 3 times, if not 4 or 5. Let's see what we have here. I'm gonna tell a joke. What's a good joke to tell? How do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie on it. Hold on. Okay, see? You put a little boogie on. Okay, now, reshuffle the cards, set them back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, double aces. Joker, Joker, spade. Okay. 1, 2, 3. What? Okay. Okay. So, we have club. So, I'm going to add in a quick segment from a past episode, and then we'll play this one more, and then we'll play aces and jokers one more time. So it helps out. So it kind of helps out the world, but I had a but. I have a big butt, and if only that big butt had a little bit of a tooth, that would make this much funnier. Anyway, my big butt is that the UV rays actually hypnotize and put people in trances to get people that like Eggman even more. I mean, Sonic and Knuckles were pretty sus, so it makes sense. As of now, we could see a lot more in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 than just blowing up the moon and a couple of Sonic's characters. I mean, we are definitely going to see Shadow, am I not wrong? So it could be that in this universe they all share a special speed power, and they all share a special speed power of their own creating, and they're all like extraordinary humanoid extraterrestrials, like Sonic, Longclaw, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Styx, Rouge, Big, Cream, and who do I add as the last one? Silver. Yeah. Except they all know that they're animals. So they're humanoid animal extraterrestrials in the Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy. Or at least that's what I think. I think if it was just the 2 movies, it would be called a duology. Nah, that sounds pretty stupid. I admit that. But besides seeing different characters alike, we could see a lot more. Like let's jump into Sonic Boom. We could see a robot version of Eggman that travels into his universe and is actually able to shapeshift. And then we could see and we could see a Dr. Eggman that's actually a robot and is able to shapeshift, like in Sonic Boom. I mean, the chances are unlikely, but even unlikely still leaves at least the smallest bit of likeliness. I need a drink. Okay. So we could
we could see him. There's a doubt, but that doesn't mean that the doubt can't leave an open space as well. So we could explore going deeper into different version dimensions of how Sonic of different Sonic lives and heck even how Sonic's goes. You know? But then again we could also see well, do you remember in Sonic Prime, the recent Sonic series that has just been finished? Well, we could see Sonic the Hedgehog 3 could be more of Dr. Robotnik hunting down more and more and more and more power, not just the Chaos Emeralds. We could even go deep down into the Paradox Prism. There's a little bit of doubt. I admit that. I do have my doubts. But that doesn't mean that there's not even the slightest bit chance, which I am thinking that we could have. We very much could have there's a small chance that we could have the Paradox Prism and Robotnik is using it and Robotnik is going to try to use it to gain more and more power, not just the Chaos Emeralds. Speaking of which, let's jump right into the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emeralds. So let's kind of jump into Chaos in Sonic X. So in Sonic X, Chaos emerges from the Master Emerald. Thanks a lot, Eggman. And Knuckles punches and a slight miss and the Master Emerald is destroyed, and he's looking for a way to repair it, and it's later revealed that the Master Emerald could have more power than thought, and that couldn't just seal chaos, but actually has a strong connection with the Chaos Emeralds. And then let's jump back into the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trilogy. In that one, it turns out that the Chaos Emeralds are actually what formed the Master Emerald itself, and so breaking the Master Emerald through so much mortal combat, yeah. Now all of a sudden, I feel like, never mind that. Anyway, through a bunch of mortal combat, the Master Emerald gets damaged, and as it cracks, it is supposed that Robotnik nearly kills Sonic and his family, but the Chaos Emerald senses their feelings, goes into Sonic and saves them all, and Sonic saves them all by bam, 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 bam. Boop. Oh, so it's like that. Okay, they're not friends. Later, hater. That's kind of how it goes. So Sonic's rushing through the robot, and unlike the grand finale big bump that happens in Sonic the Hedgehog 1, instead he just lightly thuds it bang. Oh, so it's like that. Yeah, I already said that. And then Sonic gets angry, and Robotnik's like, okay, we're not friends. Yeah, instead of finishing with a huge finisher move, all Sonic does is just thud the balance. But it could have been that Dr. Robotnik had two of Sonic's rings and escaped into a safe place as he was falling. So he could still be alive, along with Stone. Yeah? Anyway, we could dig deeper into how the Echidnas actually forged the Chaos Emeralds into the Master Emerald. But since the Echidnas formed it, Knuckles was able to repair it by grabbing all the pieces and putting it back together. But it doesn't emanate as well from when it was in the temple. So it could be that Dr. Robotnik siphoned away most of its powers, and when the Chaos Emeralds scattered, that it could have been that maybe the Master Emerald actually lost most of its powers but isn't completely useless. But we could dig deeper into that as we travel into the 6th episode event Knuckles, which we can stream on Paramount Plus. Great streaming service, by the way. And yeah, we could see that. We could dig deeper into how the Master Emerald was forged with the Chaos Emeralds in Knuckles. Okay? I mean, I am personally excited to figure out how, because in that trailer, Knuckles and Wade are mostly just hanging out. Wade trying to come up with nicknames for Nux. I just gave Knuckles a nickname. Nux? No. Knuckles? The Knuckle? No. The Nux? No. Why won't you accept any of my nicknames? Yeah. It's really funny, especially when Knuckles ties Wade to a motorcycle and he drives off drinking coffee. What a beautiful morning. How bad could things go? You're gonna go save him? No. He must learn to rescue himself. Knuckles! Hey. So yeah, we could dig deeper into how the Master Emerald was forged in Knuckles, because when Knuckles reforged it through the pieces that it was destroyed from, it could have gotten most of its powers back from Dr. Robotnik. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, he keeps implying that he's Dr. Eggman. Like, as he gets into a new suit and stuff, he yells out once he's done, "Yes, I've been rehatched!" So you see where I'm getting at? You've got to see where I'm getting at here.
Aces and Jokers is kind of like the main centerpiece for my unnaturally long intros. And now for the last subject. Maybe I'll do 2 more after this. Okay, so I'm willing to put a little wager on this. If I get 1 Joker and 1 Ace, I'm willing to do it 2 more times. Double aces. Okay. Two Jokers, 1 spade. Okay, I have my eyes closed. Okay. Club. Can't do that. Heart. And as it says here, heart means what would you remove and add in its place from a game or a movie? Well, since we're talking Punch-Out, I think I'm going to select... Since we're talking Punch-Out, I think I'm going to talk about... I think what I would add and remove from Punch-Out Wii. Punch-Out Wii. Yeah, if I could remove anything from it, it would probably be like using the Wii Fit disc, cause no one even uses those. Cause I mean, who's even gonna use those if they still own Wii's? I still own a Wii and I don't really use them, so if I could remove that, what I would put in its place would be to uh, what I had it in my head, now I can't remember. Oh, I remember. To have a quick and easy defeat for each of the fighters in Punch Out Wii, because in Punch Out we are able to each one of the each one of the boxers has some kind of weak spot that you need to attack a special way to defeat them. For Glass Joe, I guess I can go over up to Mr. Sandman. Yeah. For Glass Joe, it's the for Glass Joe, it's when he goes, hey, hey, he Jean. If you hit him with a 3-star punch just as he comes back in, you can knock him out. You can knock him out. Really lucky there. It's pretty lucky there. Now, Von Kaiser when you're able to defeat Von Kaiser in just 5 punches. Like when he shakes his head, you can punch him and you'll get a star. Once you've got 3 stars, once you have 3 stars, you just dodge one of his attacks and punch him once. After that, he'll cover his face and go, "You do there." And then he'll put one of his arms down, and that's when you use a 3-star punch on him and take him out. Mommy! And then you defeat him. The third fighter is Disco Kid. He does not have one. So, the third fighter is Disco Kid. So, he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. So, he doesn't have one. And King Hippo actually has 2. For starters, he has this weird powerful attack called an ear clap, where you attack a fighter from both of his sides, crushing him in the middle. If you use a star punch just as he's about to do the ear clap, you'll defeat him. Or if you attack his stomach as he does the ear clap, he'll lose his crown. And then if you attack him with his and then you attack his stomach on the next ear clap with your other arm, you can defeat him. That's pretty lucky, right? That I should probably be done. I should probably be done, and I should probably be done with this with Aces and Jokers. I'll play some Super Mario 64 music. I'll put on my Check My Channel segment, and when we get back, me and my guest, Vesuvius Matrix Online, again, he and I will discuss the rest of Punch Out. Okay? Yo, I'm Mr.L Ludwig, aka Ludwig Minecraft. As you know from this very podcast that you're listening to, I have a YouTube channel for gaming walkthroughs. I'm not always caught up though, so I will eventually catch up. Who knows? But But whether it's funny videos, maybe a few funny videos, a couple of songs, dance moves, dance remixes, or even just some gaming walkthroughs on stuff, I can say for sure that I will be gaming for, and I am the gamer of games, pointing out things that people probably have a hard time finding. Of course, good old Mr.L here knows what he's doing most of the time. So if you need some help on some type of game that you've been playing for a little while, but you don't know how to get through it, I'm you. I'm the Mister you're looking for.
We have disconnected the microphone due to the fact that I don't have a microphone not attached to headphones just yet. But I'm planning on getting one soon. Anyway, we have Vesuvius Matrix Online, my dad, joining us today for Punch Out. Now, what are your thoughts on Punch Out? Because I love it. I mean, I played the NES because you showed it to me. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, it was probably one of the very first games I ever played at my cousin's house back in like 1985. And yeah, I remember beating Glass Joe and Von Kaiser and then losing to
Piston Honda.
Piston Honda.
Yeah, he gave me a little bit of trouble when I was younger too. Although the one I can't seem to get past lately, it is So Popinski. I mean, like, he's super easy. At least I think he's a little bit easy. I mean, I make it to the world circuit. I get past the second fight with Piston Hondo and Don Flamenco. But when I reach So Popinski, I just can't beat him for some reason. I mean, I have actually managed to get up to Mr. Sandman, though. He was tricky, especially with his Dreamland Express always popping up. I mean, there was like no pattern to that. He would bright a flash color right before he did it, and it was like a split second before I do it, which I would notice either that or just a quarter second. He would do it, and then he'd start. It really bothered me. I kept playing it on my Nintendo Switch on the NES emulator, and they have like a rewind feature, so I had to keep rewinding over and over and over so many flippin' times.
Yeah, Soda Popinski, I think he changes up his timing because he does just the basic attacks, but his timing I think switches up.
Yeah, I've seen that some of the fighters in the original Punch Out, they would switch their timing depending on, like, when I would rewind, I would make one different move and they'd change their punch pattern entirely. It's ridiculous.
And Mr. Sandman, yeah, he like kind of shuffle in place and then he throws those quick uppercuts.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point. And you attack his head, stomach, and he's not like King Hippo at all. In fact, he's kind of like the counterpart to Bald Bull.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's the same
The same rhythm.
Yeah, same attacks and everything. Yeah, I think there's a trick to beating him, and I think when he's shuffling in place, there's a camera that goes off in the background. And I think that's the same thing for Bald Bull, and that's when you move out of the way for his uppercuts.
Well, yeah, there were a lot of tough fights, especially Mr. Dream. I mean, I would keep punching and rewinding over and over, but even when I knocked him down, he still won by decision. It's flippin' redunculous.
So, are you playing the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out version?
No, they don't have that on the NES emulator on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike Tyson mentioned something about Nintendo, so they might re-release it under his his version, or they'll do another game. Hopefully soon. Hopefully they announce it when he fights Jake Paul.
I really hope that they make another Punch Out because before we jump straight into Punch Out Wii, there was the 3 original games that I can remember is Punch Out NES, Punch Out SNES, and Punch Out Wii. So let's jump into Super Punch Out for the SNES. I mean, there were a different lineup of characters, but they, what all 3 games have in common?
Little Mac?
Well, I was gonna say Bald Bull, but yeah, that too. Bald Bull appears in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I could barely get through the second guy in the Major League in Super Punch Out before I realized what I was doing wrong fighting Bear Hugger, which is attacking his stomach. Because I bet any amateur would notice that trying to punch his stomach, he would just dodge in and stick out his tongue twice.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous. So you only had to go for the head. And you notice how he fell? You would punch him and his animation kind of seemed like he was spinning as a ballet performer, I believe, sort of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, which is ironic because he doesn't look like a ballet or a ballet dancer.
Yeah, he's from Salmon Arm and he trains with bears. Quite literally.
Do you know about the clown?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh yeah, he juggles and throws balls at you, and you have to dodge them.
That's incredibly stupid. that's a little sadistic, but not as sadistic as Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. That is evil.
So there was Gabby J, Bob Charlie, Masked Muscle, Aaron Ryan, Heike Kageru, Mad Clown, Narcissus Prince, and Hoy Quarlow. Oh wait, maybe there's more. Super Punch Out 1994.
Yeah?
Yeah. Bob Charlie, Masked Muscle, Aaron Ryan, Heike Kageru, Mad Clown, Narcissus Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rick Bruiser. Rick Bruiser and Nick Bruiser. The final opponent of the game and holds a record of 42 wins and 0 losses. And Rick Bruiser is a boxer and brother of Nick Bruiser. Rick has 41 wins on his record and 1 loss from his brother. Both Rick and Nick can use the Arm Breaker, a special move that temporarily takes Little Mac's left or right arm out of action. Oh yeah, because that's like a cheap move in boxing, where when you clinch up, they try and wrench down or hurt your elbow, so it's harder to throw punches for you.
What was the word that you just used?
When they wrench down on your elbow?
No, before that.
I don't know.
Well, I find it a little...
Clinch?
No. You know what, I'm just gonna say it. I find it a little bothering that I've noticed in both games that you get knocked down twice in the first round, and then after you get knocked down the second time in the next round, you're not able to get back up no matter what. It gets really annoying, and I've noticed it in both the NES and SNES version. It's a little annoying, and it bothers me a lot. I mean, it's kind of ripped off.
Well, they have to make the games hard, otherwise they'll be boring.
Well, I understand that, but why limit getting taken down? Actually, I did notice that they did the same thing in Punch Out Wii, where you get knocked down 3 times no matter what, you stay down as a KO. But I also have noticed that Lil Mac sometimes saves himself. Like just as he's about to go down, he lunges forward instead, gets back up,
and continues the match in Punch-Out Wii. And I've also noticed in Punch-Out Wii, I've used this strategy a lot, and I love using it too. You would just there were secret ways to defeat each opponent quickly. For Glass Joe, it was like when he stepped away to taunt you. Hey, Eva-Sean. As soon as he stepped in, if you used a 3-star punch on him, he'd go out of the match immediately. Kind of like when you punch him and he goes down as a not end of the match knockout without a star punch. So does that make sense?
Yes, it does. For
Von Kaiser, it was like you could defeat this guy in 5 punches. Not seriously, like you could he would shake his head, and if you punched him before he punched you, you'd get a star. Do that 3 times, and then wait for his next punch. Dodge it this time, but just punch him once. And then once he comes out of being stunned, he'll cover his head going, Jijujin. And then he puts one of his arms down for a close second. That's when you 3-star punch him into oblivion. For King Hippo, there's actually 2 for King Hippo. Yeah, he does these things called ear claps, where he punches in the middle with both his hands. And if you use a star punch on his mouth right as he does it, you could defeat him. Or, just as he's about to do it, punch his stomach instead. And then he'll do it again and punch him with the other arm. And you'll KO a crownless King Hippo. It's a good strategy if you want to defeat him fast.
Of course.
I mean, he has a lot of health and he goes down with 1 knockout, but I've always wanted to get him done as fast as I can.
Yeah, because he hits hard, so if you mess up once, then like half your energy can be gone.
I know,
or
right?
More.
Yeah. So you want to defeat King Hippo as fast as you can. So I recommend using these strategies if you have a Wii and Punch-Out Wii as your personal favorite, which I do and I have. It's one of my personal favorite Wii games. Piston Honda has 2 as well. Like when he does his star taunt, if you use a 3-star punch as he's doing it, that does him in. Or if he does his super Piston Hondo Rush, I think it's called. It's either Piston Rush or Hondo Rush. Either way, just as he comes back in, use a 3-star punch, he goes down. Kind of like how you use. It's kind of like taking them down. They have these secret 1-punch knockdown weak spots. Piston Honda has 2. A star punch with a star taunt, and attacking him before he can use his Hondo Rush. So, like, if you use a 3-star punch before he can use them, you've basically defeated him. But it only counts if he has a played scene. I've checked, and you want to make sure it's the right timing. Usually between 1 to 3 seconds is right when you can. Bear Hugger, I don't think has one. No.
Probably does.
No, but he is very vulnerable to star punches. Disco Kid doesn't have one, and I don't think Bear Hugger does either.
Is Disco Kid your favorite?
Disco Kid was Disco Kid was the 3rd fight in the. Disco Kid was the 3rd match in Punch-Out Wii. He was a little difficult for me at first, but when I finally TKO'd him, he kind of was a breeze for me. I mean, I've played a lot of games in my amateur phase of gaming, and now here I am, and some of the first games I play, and sometimes when I'm playing games first time, I'm kind of good at them most already. I didn't need to work my amateur way up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a slower learning curve.
Yeah.
Or a faster learning curve, I should say.
Yeah. You know, kind of like experience. Hey, here's a fun Punch-Out Easter egg from the Super Mario Brothers movie, the Punch-Out Pizzeria. It has a bunch of pictures from Punch-Out Wii featuring a similar animation. So maybe there could be like a... So, yeah, I've noticed Doc Lewis, Glass Joe, Lil Mac, and I've also seen a couple of other fighters that I can't exactly remember. It's hard for me to remember when I'm kind of trying to pay attention to them when I'm watching the movie more than once. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Who was the third one? Right, Great Tiger. I don't think Great Tiger has one though. Not Great Tiger. Not Great Tiger, but you are able to defeat him in 3 punches. Like, he has these special magic rushes. If you just punch him before you can do it, you just dodge all his punches, wait for his magic rush, and you punch him. You can TKO him in 3 punches. It's
just he does the magic punch, and then you dodge them and just punch him once.
It's a little bit
it's
a little bit agitating if you keep just getting hit, waiting over. It's a little annoying. Don Flamingo, I think, has one where like he has these 3 hook combos, like uno, dos, tres. Instead of ducking them, dodge the opposite side. Where if you duck them, he'll finish with an uppercut. Where if you dodge them, he'll just relax himself, making him vulnerable to get a star. But if you use a 3-star punch with him at the time, it'll defeat him. The World League in Punch-Out Wii has 5 instead of 4. The first one was a little tricky for me. It was Aaron Ryan from Super Punch-Out.
Doesn't he headbutt people?
Oh, yeah. He's made it extremely clear. He has made it extremely clear. And he's a little bit of a goofball.
Does anybody in Punch-Out bite?
I don't think so. I haven't checked.
Because, Mike Tyson bit someone.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I do know that. Aaron Ryan has 2 weak spots, and one of them is kind of a long shot. I kind of go for the other one. The first one is where if you have a star punch, if you have a star ready, then when he tries to headbutt you by swinging off the end of the ring, if you block him, his headbutt will block off, and then you star punch him, and then you win. Although it's a bit of a long shot. Sometimes the blocks don't actually work, so I figure it's kind of better off using the 7-star punches ways, because he has 4 easy, sort of easy ways to get star punches. I mean, they're not too difficult to get. He has his star taunt, and he has one of his uppercut. He has one of his uppercut taunts. So I prefer using the 7-star punch technique to take him down. It's less of a long shot, and I know what's coming, sorta. Next comes... what was his name? Sir Popinski. He is my nightmare. He is the worst NPC I've ever fought. I mean, he's so flippin' difficult. He has, his pattern is unrecognizable. You can't just dodge over and over, because you need to know where he's coming from for you to dodge him. Which is why I've come up with a little technique called the Soda Rush. It's not like a special star punch, defeat him in 1-star punch technique. It's kind of like my own thing. So when you come into the fight, right before he hooks you, when he turns red and when he flashes red, punch him. You'll get a star punch. Then immediately use that star punch. You'll start using his uppercuts, and you'll know what's coming. It's like a repeating pattern, because each time he's done one of those mini soda rushes, you can just keep going and going and going every time. It's a straightforward technique that I came up with, and I suggest you use it.
I've actually wanted to do a Punch-Out Wii walkthrough,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't exactly have the capture card equipment to do it, and I don't exactly have the space to set up a phone camera to take a video of it either. So, after Popinski was Bald Bull. He was a little bit easy for me. I mean, not like too easy. He has like his spins, then punches, his uppercuts, and then his taunts before his hooks. I managed to figure him out pretty quickly, but what you didn't know is that once he's done getting punched by stun, if you punch him at least 2 more times, there's a chance you could get a star, and I've used that technique a couple of times. But here's the thing. No matter what, you want to always, no matter what, do not risk using your star punches on Bald Bull when he uses his Bolt Rush. It's a straight up, I checked. Full health. Even at full health, his Bolt Rush, it knocks you out. So don't risk your star punches on this technique to take him out in one star punch hit. I recommend just punching his stomach instead, or just dodging the uppercuts until he's calmed down. I suggest that. Other than that, you do you.
What about Punch-Out Wii?
Yeah, Punch-Out Wii. Isn't that what we're talking about right now?
Oh, I thought we were still talking about Super Punch-Out.
Sorry. And
Now, do you ever use the Wiimotes to throw punches, or do you just use the buttons?
I just use the buttons.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah. And you're actually able to use one of those Wii Fit mini mats to dodge and duck for Punch-Out. But I recommend not doing that, because
it would be a good challenge once you finish the game on all levels.
Yeah.
Because isn't there like a title defense mode?
Yeah, there is a title defense mode actually. Once you beat Super Macho Man and Mr. Sandman. Super Macho Man is like, he's a crazy Hollywood rich guy.
Oh, I know.
And he loves the girls having the hots for him. So after Lil Mac makes him lose his reputation, he can get pretty angry. And here's a little trick to defeat him quickly. Like, he does these like spin punches.
Oh yeah.
So I've discovered that if you use a 3-star punch when he does his 3-way circle punches, after his second circle punch, right before he's about to do his third, use your star punches there, because when he's done his circle punch, you'll punch him right there and then, and he'll be knocked out. You need to knock him down at least once for him to activate his 3 circle throws. And then Mr. Sandman doesn't have one, but he's really easy to get stars from. I've discovered 8 different ways.
8 ways to get stars?
Yeah, 8 different ways to get stars. He has like his downward punches, he has like his other arm ones, where he pauses right before he does. He has like his night boom, and he has these woo boom
hooks.
Yeah, and then he has his Dreamland Express and his woo taunt. So I've discovered 8 different ways to get stars when you're required to only get 7 to get a special achievement in Exhibition. There's title defense forms of them, but I think I've spent about 23 minutes, 25 seconds talking about them, so the original mode, so I'm not going to go over them, but I will say the quirks. Once you complete the game, you're able to once you're completed title defense mode, you're able to do max last stand, where if you lose to, where you just take on random title defense fighters, you can't restart, you can't quit from the battles, and you just have to keep fighting. And if Mac loses 3 times, he's done. He retires. And if you win enough times, you're able to do Master Class, where 3 punches, you're done.
Oh my god, that's gotta be so hard.
That's why it's called Master Challenge. I did.
And who do you fight at the end?
Donkey Kong. Yeah, he's actually in Mac's last stand. He appears as like the second one.
Well, when do you fight the trainer?
Doc Lewis?
Yeah.
Let me take a look.
What do you have to do to fight him?
Maybe I shouldn't press the record button when I'm trying to search something, because that turns off the recording I'm trying to currently record. How about you look?
Are you recording now?
Yeah, I am. So, how about you take a look on your phone?
What are we looking for, Doc Lewis?
Doc Lewis's Punch Out. Why can't you access it on Punch Out Wii?
Yeah, let me see if I can find him here.
I have discovered that it is an actual game. It is an actual game. And I've seen the boss rush video of it. Do you have anything?
So let's see. Oh, it's Doc Lewis's Punch Out? Oh, it's its own game.
Well, that sucks.
Hold on.
Are you sure we can't buy it as a DLC on the Wii Shop or anything?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is that it's DLC. Doc Lewis Punch Out fandom.
I've searched on fandom for a couple of things. Like Morpho Knight on Kirby. Will he return as the main antagonist, or will he just return as another side antagonist in the next Kirby game? It's really bothered me.
In the Wii title, he is voiced by Riley Ng.
Riley Ng?
Gameplay. In all modes of Doc Lewis's Punch-Out, Doc plays similarly to some of the opponents in the Wii version of Punch-Out. As he is training Mac, he uses every type of punch against him and intentionally telegraphs them, usually by saying something before attacking, such as dodge or duck this one. Chocolate bars flop off Doc Lewis's head if the player manages to stun him.
That like birds and sushi, like birds around most of the characters, and sushi around Piston Honda, and Z's around Mr. Sandman. Oh yeah, and fish around Bear Hugger, and they turn to skeletons once he's done getting stunned.
Oh, I thought that he was like a special boss, like after Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
I thought Donkey Kong just wears a tie.
Does
he wear boxing trunks?
No, he doesn't. He just wears a tie, But I might go over a little bit of Donkey Kong while we have some time left. Donkey Kong is a little mischievous. Well, not little, but you know what I mean. Donkey Kong is mischievous, and he has a lot of taunts, and it can get really frustrating battling him. He'll have special taunts right before one of his attacks. So it's really difficult to when to punch him and when not to, because if you don't punch at the right time, you won't get a star, and he'll just dodge and use a different attack, and it's really frustrating trying to figure out which one. Also, he does ear claps at random moments. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. And if he wins against Mac, you know what he does? He carries Mac off like Pauline and on the arcade.
That's hilarious.
On the arcade cat. Yeah, it really is. Donkey Kong is a formidable foe, more formidable than Title Defense Sandman, and he took me at least 2 tries to actually get through him. I mean, like, Title Defense Soda Popinski, he took me 2 years to get through. It's ridiculous. I mean, I could knock him down. And he'd be down, but he would never run out of soda. He would always get back up, and his patterns would change until I came up with a soda rush technique. I could not get through him at all.
it really drove me nutso, and I was happy to get through to Bald Bowl, and it didn't take me as long to beat Bald Bowl, probably at least a week. And then there was Super Macho Man. He was actually a little easy because he had most of his moves from the original, and I could see all of his new moves before he even could throw his punches. Mr. Sandman only had his rage uppercuts, which were a little frustrating. They were a little frustrating, and I had a hard time getting past them. But I did eventually get past them and defeat him. Like, he has this endless flurry after you've knocked him down a second time. Mr. Sandman has this endless flurry of rage uppercuts, and then, he has this endless flurry of rage uppercuts, and then when he's done, he gets so tired he loses his head vulnerable for Mac to get 3-star punches and knock him out. Officially re-dethroning him from being the most fierce competitor on Mac's ring. That and title defense really struck me. When I was an amateur, I could barely get past Glass Joe, of all things. Flippin' Glass Joe. And he's supposed to be like one of the easiest flippin' guys there. It's a little, you could see where I was at the time, but but most of them are vulnerable to star punches in title defense form, and they are very easy to defeat once you've learned all the moves. And it took me this long to learn all the moves, and if I did a boss rush after a year of not playing, I probably would almost ace it and only get 3 losses by the time Mac retires. I mean, probably won't go that far. I'm still having trouble with Super Macho Man title defense form, but you know what I mean. I'm a little bit daring, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, in exhibition, you're able to face on special challenges for fighting each one of the opponents. In fact, some of them even give away the fact that you can take each fighter down with a special punch at a special time. You know?
Mm-hmm.
For Glass Joe, it's get through Glass Joe's battle without dodging, ducking, or blocking a punch. I mean, he's pretty easy. All you need to do is he does a star taunt at first, you get 2 stars from it, and then you go head, jab, stomach, jab, stomach, jab, and you get a 3rd star punch. Then he does his taunt, hey, Ibashon, bam, you're defeated, Glass Joe. It's quite simple, and that's just one example. Each character has 3 special conditions that you could use to defeat them, and 4 if you count the Master Showdown for each one of them, where if you get hit 3 times, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun, and I really enjoy playing Punch-Out as it is. And I've enjoyed playing all 3 series, and I hope they come out with a brand new Punch-Out with similar graphics to Punch-Out Wii and a whole new set of battles for Lomac.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It would.
Hope Mike Tyson's in it again.
That would be quite the dream fight. I mean, I suppose Donkey Kong was technically the dream fight, but he's not like the dream fight, you know?
Mike Tyson was the dream fight first.
Yeah, he was. Along with Mr. Dream, when they you know what I mean. I am really.
I would like to see Luigi as the referee
instead
of Mario.
Ooh, yeah. So like they swap out.
And Toad can be a judge.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe we should get. I've seen in Super Punch-Out a few times, and actually in Punch-Out Wii, you can spot like little shadow figure. What are shadow figures in light called, where you can't see their front, but there's light behind them? What are those called?
Silhouette.
Yeah, I've seen silhouettes of Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Donkey Kong. I've seen silhouettes in both Punch-Out Wii and Super Punch-Out, but not the NES Punch-Out, sadly. If we could get some silhouettes of a couple other Nintendo games, like maybe Kirby and Mario, that would probably make everyone happy, because Lil Mac is Nintendo. He made his way onto Super Smash Bros., so his legacy lives on. But I want his legacy to continue with another fantastic Punch-Out game. What would you say to that?
I would love it.
Me
Can't
too.
wait.
Me too. And there was another game that we both really wanted, and we saw in a Game Informer, but we never actually got.
What was?
It was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World video game.
Oh yeah, it's there. We just never actually downloaded it.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of anxiety, I think, because I'm having a lot of emotions, because I hope Nintendo brings out a brand new phase for video games after what they have done from 2023 to 2024. I saw their last Nintendo Direct, and I saw all the games that came with it. I'm probably not going to play Princess Peach Showtime for a little while, but I hope that the next phase of Nintendo games on the next Nintendo Direct, I bet it's going to satisfy with us all, with probably more indie world games as well. And I hope that what Nintendo has in store for us satisfies most of what we want.
That's right.
But what we need here is a new Super Smash three things that we need. A new Super Smash Bros. With new characters, and being able to switch out final smashes as well. There's a lot of characters that Super Smash Bros. Needs, like Rayman, BWD, Crash Bandicoot.
Mike Tyson?
Yeah. Number 2, we need another Punch-Out game, because we just raved on and on about it for like a half an hour about how we liked the Punch-Out franchise, and about how we liked the Punch-Out franchise, and we're just wrapping up with how we want it to continue.
We want more.
Yeah, we don't want it to continue through Super Smash. We want it to continue through its own franchise. It's a franchise review podcast here, so I'm really excited. And number 3, and a third thing that we need for a new Nintendo game is a Kirby game where Morpho Knight isn't just a side antagonist. He should be the main antagonist. I actually have a fan-written game in my notebook that I could go over in my next Kirby franchise review podcast, which probably won't be for another year. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Daddy-O, for this podcast episode.
Thank you for having me.
By the time I have my computer, I should have a contract printed out for you so we can get into business.
Okay.
And thank you, everybody, for listening to this podcast episode. I'm Mr.L. Ludwig. He's Vesuvius, Matrix Online. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.